Hello, hello. Hey, Kevin. Hey, possibly Cinesello, but you were here like half an hour ago. So confident and focused on another thing and just look over. Yeah, how it happens. And I even warned Kevin, watch out. Actually, a warning to both of you. All right, so we are going to be doing more triage stuff today. And hopefully pushing a new version, hopefully tackling some stuff too. Did I write a today command that makes sense? Yeah, I did. Oh, wrong mic. Let me take a look. I changed a whole bunch of stuff. So it is entirely possible that it's coming through the wrong mic. Give me a sec. Engage privacy mode. Let me find out. Sound. It's weird. It doesn't even know this is plugged in. Oh, because it's not. Okay, there. Sorry, fixed. Yeah, I swap between my Mac and my Windows machine, and for whatever reason, I have a USB hub, but when I plug my microphone into it, I think the Mac doesn't like that. So I have to manually plug in the mic to the different computers as I use them. And yeah, every once in a while I forget. And technically I have two backup mics, the webcam and the actual camera. So usually people can hear me, but not as well. Anyway, sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know, Kevin. Adam is doing hyper triage. Going through how many characters do we have left in this document? 64,000 characters. Down from 77K. All right. Before we get to that, we need to fix a critical bug. I just found out about this yesterday. I will show it off in a sec, but first I need to figure out what I can get rid of over here. Yo, thanks for the resub. Welcome back. Happy 63 months. I hope you're doing well. I always feel like Yo is there watching, not talking, waiting for me to mess up, so the crown can become theirs. No, they've been very supportive. All right, I'm going to clean this stuff up. A lot of what I did here is for the sake of the trailer that I produced a new one yesterday. Sometimes. Do I have a trailer command? Not that anybody ever really uses it. Yeah, the Skeleseller trailer is on YouTube and Steam as of Y date. Yeah, Tuesday, I guess just May 13th is probably fine. 2025. And I don't actually know the trailer link. Skeleseller trailer. Whoa, why is this visible? Oh god. Whoa, 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 whoa. Edit. This should not be visible. Unlisted. Oh man. That's too bad. Shouldn't have been there. At least I found it. Okay. So we put that there. Is there an extra space? There we go. Trailer looks good. Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy with how it came out, but I feel like it was just a checkbox sort of thing. Like, even the last trailer that you just saw me pull up there, that has, I don't even see what the view count is. But anyway, it's got about 1,000 views over the course of, what, 4 months or something. So it's not like people just randomly stumble on this. I think what's happening is they're going to itch, and then they're clicking the trailer link there, and that counts as a view. And probably most people are going to find it through Steam. So it's rather unfortunate that for whatever reason, Skeleseller does not have sort of trailer marketing power, and that instead it's just a necessary tool for people to learn about the game. So that's kind of unfortunate. Was updated on May 13th. Cool. Bugs in sending me notifications even though I have it muted. I got the stream as live notification. So I think that muting a server or a channel is not equal to role tagging, and that you can disable role tagging in the server. Let me see. Oh, God. Taking a picture of this is messed up. Okay, so here's what I see. I think you probably need to do this, suppress all role mentions. Yeah, it's definitely not clear. And I always get confused by this too. So I usually mute an entire server, then suppress pretty much all of these things, and then never look at the server again, basically. That is actually what tends to happen. All right, so yeah, anyway, this stuff was for the trailer. Like this, I muted the building sound because it didn't really fit, and I put in a different one in editing. But now we need to change it for the actual game. This, we set the number of customers to 12 so that stuff was actually happening in the trailer. This is to get it to drop certain items so that we could sell armors in the trailer. So yeah, lots of different things I did. This is to make items not disappear so it didn't make random sounds. This was to not show the exclamation mark because I wasn't going to click them. This was to not autosave so I don't overwrite the scenario I'm working on. This was to make it automatically go into the portal so I didn't have to wait. I'm only narrating what these are because I need to look through them anyway. I know people don't care about code I'm reverting here. But like a lot of work went into making that trailer. Yeah, showing specific signs, spawning customers closer to where they're going to be, hiding a debug button, making it so the customer is never idle. And what's this last one? Never showing the fishing pond sign and showing the warehouse sign. Cool. Been having for 2 days now and it's really annoying. Oh, it is a Discord bug? Push notifications for muted conversations. You know what you could probably do? Maybe remove the live notification role. I don't even know if you have it. Let me take a look. Roles. No, you don't have it. Never mind. Okay, yeah. No, it's just a bug. Sorry, yo. All right, so this I think we need to keep. And this was easy enough to do, although I did multiply all these numbers by a crazy amount. And it does make me wonder if this is fixed for the battle map too. So let's go start with instance slot. Is that what this is? Yeah. And we're going to make this be 512 times 2, 288 times 2. Good. And then the sub viewport container, we're going to give it a scale of 0.5, 0.5. So now when I play the game, it should all be good. Well, you can't leave the server. That's the only thing that would definitely work. You're forced to stay there forever. No leaving, yo. Okay, so how do we tell if this is fixed? I guess we have to look at the text. So let's take a picture of an actual word. I guess the only word that can show up is mental swiftness. And despite having like a 20% chance of happening, it just didn't happen. If this doesn't work this match, I'm going to just hire the rogue because that's a guarantee. Oh, there we go. Yes, that is crisp. Okay, cool. So that's working. And then we should be able to move this out of here and still have it work. And it looks like it's fine. Yeah, nice. Okay, this was not a very difficult fix. What is this for? This 722. Refix 722. This broke it. Yeah, the fix is pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'll commit that. But then there was something else I wanted to check. I think in the battle panel, is this viewport still working correctly? I would be surprised if it's not, because I don't think there was any reason to change this stuff. No, this is working fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that was not so crazy. Let's go delete all of this now. And we made the new trailer. All right, so hyper triage. Let's take a look at how many characters we're at. What happened to the word count being on screen? There it is. All right, so we are at, yeah, pretty much this amount. I guess I technically added more than this. So we're at 64666. Okay, yeah, you know, hope all's been well so far. What's hyper triage? Hyper triage is what I'm calling the amount of triage we need to do for this list. It's currently at 34 pages long, and there's just a bunch of stuff that we should probably file elsewhere. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right. A lot of this is going to be like we're just going to hang out and chat. I don't think there's going to be very much work in the morning. Is it similar to grooming? I haven't heard that word used in a coding sense, but assuming it's not a joke question, then yeah, it probably is similar. What is triage? Triage is typically assigning the priorities to things that they need. So imagine like medical triage, someone comes in with a, I don't know, cut on their elbow and you're like, oh, they can wait 5 hours. But someone comes in with like a bullet wound and you're like, they should probably get in now. So it's figuring out priorities, like what's the course of action. Yeah, and hanging bro. Okay, so delete local settings, start the game, then open any dialogue. It'll appear at the upper left. We should probably try this. Hang on one second. What's going on here? Okay. Yeah, I'll just file an issue with this. Dialogue show at the upper left when you for brand new launches of Skeleseller. So delete local settings.json. Then start the game. And then open any dialogue. Building the guild. I should really test this first. Fine, let's go do this. So where's our save file here? I want local settings. Move this to be save data. Local settings old. Sure. Now launch the game. In this case, a lot of this person shouldn't even be here yet. You don't have an injury at all. All right, so now we click this. Yeah. Whoa, what just happened there? I can't move the mouse. That's weird. Huh. Is it because... Yeah, that's weird. I can't screenshot this correctly. Okay, well, first of all, let's turn off the music. Oh my god, the mouse isn't even working. Oh, it's because of confined mouse to game window. Oh, that is super buggy. Oh, we are definitely changing that. Okay, there. Oh man. Okay, we got some really cool new graphics from Quickie Joe. I am probably not going to be using these for a little while because I'm not in make new adventurers territory yet. But here it is. Let me open this in GIMP so you can actually see this. They're the spirit caller spirits. So there's a little sprite spirit, there's a dog, there's a cat, and there's a snake. And these are going to do various like buffs for your team. And yeah, we will eventually add those to the game, but not now. All right, so I think we have a thing for the spirit caller here. I will protect those animal spirits with my life. Graphics. I guess we can say spirit caller. Graphics. And then spirit graphics. Okay, there, that's it. All right, next. Why is, oh, there it is. Could use this as the building sound. Yeah, I was testing this yesterday. I think this sounds pretty good. Let me open this up and show everybody. So it is what? Woodwork, wood handling 3. So listen to this sound. Hopefully that wasn't super loud. But I think that for building something would be better than the like zoop sound that we have right now, because it's a little too futuristic sounding. But we can't use it for everything. So we should go just do this right now because it's a pretty easy fix. Build building. So where do we use this? Build and upgrade sign, which means shops, the warehouse, and the vault. That's all fine. I think it's okay. The enchanter, yeah, that's probably fine. Farm. Farm doesn't really have any wood. It's got rocks and stuff. Same thing with the fishing pond. The guild, the tavern, and the town hall all should use it though. Okay, let's go change this. Yeah, I'll put this in, but then we need to figure out a sound for the other ones. How about Yeah, I don't know yet exactly. Okay, what is the build building sound? Yeah, there's a little bit of wood. Paladin Dome of Rightfulness cast. It's considered a town sound. Okay, let's paste this here. And then get whatever we called it there. Then go over to Godot so this loads. Close that. And now we go make a new sound ID. So build wooden building. Yeah. Build wooden building. There we go. Why is that not working? Oh, it's buildings. I didn't mean to type that. Okay. So now we want to replace a lot of these with this. Enchanter, that's fine. It should probably sound a little bit more magical. Guild, we said is fine. Tavern and town hall. All right, so now these other ones, the farm, what should that sound like? If we search for farm, does anything show up? Farm sound effects, farm ambience. Actions, ambient. What's this sound like? Whoa, that's too loud. I mean, it's a vegetable farm, so I don't really think there's a sound associated with vegetables growing. And none of these are gonna work. Okay, well, what about for water? Let's search for that. Because there's probably a good water sound we can use for this. Yeah, like that's probably good enough. But let's listen to some other ones. That one's not bad either. I think I like Bubblecast best so far. No, don't like that. Okay, so Bubblecast, we're going to copy this, but let's listen to a couple other ones first. Because there's a lot of these. That's not bad. Yeah, none of the other ones really work. No. It's very loud. That one can potentially work. Yeah, that could potentially work. I don't know if I like it better. Is this a standardized sound pack? Yeah, it's an asset pack. So I bought the set of all of these, and I'm just trying to find something that fits. No, these don't sound good. Waterfall? No. Okay, I think then one of those two. So either this one or the other one. Let's load them both up. Compare them side by side. Import audio. Whoops. Whoops. You can't paste here? God, I've always hated this bug. You have to right click and go to paste. So there's one of them. And then the other one is here. Okay, so solo this one. Here's what the first one sounds like. And here's what the second one sounds like. I think I'm going to go with the first one. Yeah. Bubblecast. Let's go get that. '05 Bubblecast. Here it is. All right, so this is going to be the build fishing pond sound. Join them together. No, I don't want to spend the time on that. Build fishing pond. Fishing pond. Cool. And then put that there. Okay, so now that one's going to go here. Building the farm. Let's just go with build wooden building, I guess. Which now means that build building isn't used for anything. So I guess let's get rid of that. Paladin Dome of Rightfulness. Paladin Yeah, delete that. Delete this. There. Okay, now let's test it out. Is that the new Audacity UI? I think so, yeah. I haven't used Audacity in a while, and when I finally tried it on Mac, I didn't know if that was just the UI on Mac. Did I even load this? No, I didn't. Hey, Lavender. Is it Mono Game? It's Godot using C#. Mono Game is its own entire engine, right? Framework for creating games using C# and other .NET languages. Oh, yeah. I think Godot is using this. Wait, I'm not actually sure because it uses Mono. It doesn't use Mono Game probably. Yeah. Never mind. It's similar. Okay, so let's just restart this because I wasn't paying attention. So we need to try building the pond and then building, well, pretty much anything else. So let's have a listen. We also need to make sure these are leveled correctly. So let's listen. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I don't have money for that. I kind of want that one to be a little bit more magical sounding. And maybe we should vary this a little bit. So change the pitch a little. I don't know about how much. Let's just try it out. Yeah, no, this isn't using Mono Game. Then, yeah. Enchanter could use the same as the pond. The watery sound? At least it sounds watery to me. I don't even hear it shifting the pitch. Let's set it to a little bit more exaggerated. That was only a 5% change earlier. Now it's a 10% change. Sounds kind of magical too. I just wonder if there's something we could use that is even more fitting than reusing the fishing pond one. I don't hear the difference. Hey, Krasner. Hey, Thomas. Ready to lock in for triage. We could go even lower than that. None of the other ones do that, though. Well, that one does. Okay, let's try that then. I don't know what it is about this that I can't even hear the difference. I could have just made it so that it plays the sound without me having to build stuff. It'd certainly be easier. But I'm not doing that now, I guess. I still don't hear it. Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's go do the thing I just said. Because I can't tell. Play sound id.build wooden building. It does sound the same. I'm just not sure how it could sound the same. It'll probably be more obvious now. Yeah, it's obviously different now. I guess we could vary this even more. One sounds like the other sounds like Hi, Blue Blue. Yeah, maybe raise the minimum pitch a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so now cut out of the game completely, and let's go see if we can find some magical sounding thing for the This is what we were using, right? It does sound kind of magical. What was the other one that I said? This one? Yeah, let's go listen for that. Maybe that could sound good. Yeah, that's not bad. When you build the enchanter, it plays that sound. Alternatively, we could play this and the building sound. And just lower the volume of building. Water rune. Or we could just do nothing. Yeah, let's put this in there. So copy this over to, I guess, town sounds. So copy this. All right, so it's called Water Rune Interact. And this is going to be build enchanter. Build enchanter. And then play this from build wooden building, wherever that is, enchanter, yeah. Whoops. Okay. Now let's go have a listen for that. These are things no one's ever going to care about or notice. It's not bad, but that should probably be louder. Build enchanter volume 1.3. Is there... For one, it should be a little bit louder even than that. But two, is there like a delay on this? It feels like there is. It's because of this part. But I think that's okay. I think if I were to do anything... Oh, there is still some waveform here. Yeah, fine. I don't want to do anything about that then. All right, let's try it out again. I just raised the volume a little bit more. This one's still a little bit louder. All right, let's raise it even more. Hey, Amy. All right, I'm gonna raise it once more. I'm not even gonna listen to it. There, that's fine. Okay, let's go check this stuff in. So delete this. So we added a few new sound effects, got rid of one of them. I was laughing at the confusion in Discord about what is 26.2. Because yeah, I've seen enough of those stickers where it's not confusing for me anymore. But it's number of miles in a marathon. Change sound effects for building stuff. We had, oh wait, we had a thing about this, an issue, didn't we? Yeah, this 503. There are now distinct sounds for the enchanter and the fishing pond, and the other buildings have a less futuristic sounding effect. Okay. All right, done. Okay, back to this. So he played on this. This is fine. We can delete this at some point. I'm not going to delete it yet in case this matters for any of the other feedback that we got, because it's nice to know when he played this, but I don't need to keep this line around. It wasn't clear to him why the adventurer's button was green. He had a skill point on the archer, but no way to spend it since he didn't have enough money to unlock a skill. Oh. We could check for that. I guess green does tend to mean there's an action you can take. I think I'm gonna delete this for now, just in case we change the UI for this, because I don't want to store this for like 2 months and then do something about it later, and it turns out we lost the context or something. I mentioned that you can just spam unlock random skill even when there's no major benefit. Maybe we could allow you to unlock another every 2 levels just to ease early game confusion. That adds another criterion. Yeah, you did another one. Yeah, this is another one of those things I'm just gonna drop, I think. Hey Grace, it's going pretty well. We've only just started. It's another pretty much a triage day. I spent some time off stream removing more things. When I ended the last stream, we were about 69,000 characters, and I got it down by another, what, 5,000-ish? So now the goal today is to get it down to 40 something thousand. There's just so much stuff on here. I just want it to be manageable. And then we need to start tackling these issues. The lever tooltip isn't exactly correct. If it's off, workers will not bring potions, not just not prioritize it. All right, I meant to type not prioritize like that. Prioritize. All right, so click to turn off or on. When on, workers will prioritize bringing potions to the extractor. So what's actually happening? What's actually happening is when it's on, workers will prioritize bringing potions. When it's off, workers will not bring potions at all. I could just say that. I think this is slightly obtuse wording, but let's go look at it in context. Maybe stop adding more issues than you resolve, if only. If only. All right, so we build the farm. Get this thing. Then hover over this. Click to turn off. When on, workers will prioritize bringing potions to the extractor. When off, workers will ignore the extractor. Maybe we could just say click to turn off, which will make workers ignore the extractor. Yeah, I think that's probably better. All right, let's do that. Also, let's stop this music before it drives me nuts. All right, and then let's also localize this as long as we're at it. Good. So this is going to be turn on tooltip. Click to turn on. When on, they'll prioritize bringing things to the machine name. Now, do we capitalize these things? Private, const, string. I don't see any of these. I guess we could just do this and search for a curly brace. Stupid curly brace to show up everywhere. No, we lowercase them. Okay, that's fine. And then we can say this, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions in the machine name. And then over here, we have a turn off tooltip. Click to turn off, which will make workers ignore the machine name. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we do this and put this here. So text is going to be, if this is on, do that. And pass in the machine name either way. Is that how that works? I guess we do it like this. Okay, now I think, yeah, that. Okay, got it. Let's try that out. Just thought I'd mention it. No, it's definitely worth keeping in mind that I should be dropping half these things anyway. 100% expected them to just change the order of prioritization rather than completely stopping. New wording is definitely better, but I feel like any potions not going to the shop should still go there. Well, the idea with this was that you want to sell those potions if you're going to change the lever. At least that's what I was thinking the idea would be. So if it ended up putting some here anyway, then that means that you're not getting money for that, which you could then feed to your garbage slime or something. So now it says click to turn off, which will make workers ignore the extractor. Or click to turn on, which will make workers prioritize bringing potions to the extractor. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is definitely much clearer. Okay, clarify how the extractor lever works. The old tooltip was misleading. The new one is much clearer. All right, maybe the actual way we should make the customer desire system work is to make them much rarer and have them tip like 300%. It's similar to introducing trends, but makes them easier to ignore if you don't want to do them, since you won't lock up as many customers on the desired item. Okay, well, I think we should just file this in the desired item thing, right? Changes to introduce trends. stand by the shop. Something individualistic. All right, how about this? Let's talk about the problem and then tasks, but I'm not sure we're actually going to do that. So we're going to put this over there. Another potential solution is to make desires much rarer and have them tip way more. Yeah. All right, quick move perk should tell you how to open the menu. How to open the menu by picking up an item. Yeah, this is something I've seen people get confused about, and I think it's just an easy wording change. So the way this is worded right now is unlock a menu that lets you quickly choose a destination for an item without having to move the camera. You can also use keyboard shortcuts 1 through 5 while the menu is open to select a destination. This menu can be turned off via the settings. So yeah, I think we need to say like unlock a menu that shows up when you pick up an item or something along those lines. But I think that's way too much text. And then also we have this setting up here. Quick move menu allows you to select item destinations without moving the camera. Menu must be unlocked via a perk in the game. Open the menu by picking up an item. Yeah, I think that's the clearest. Like, I know it's not the most succinct way of phrasing all this stuff. Lock a menu that lets you quickly choose a destination for an item without having to move the camera. You can also use keyboard shortcuts while the menu's open to select a destination. This menu can turn off via the settings. Okay, so that I think that's fine. And then this one says the quick move menu allows you to select item destinations without moving the camera. And I think we'll just put the same thing here. Open the menu by picking up an item. Yeah, there. All right, let's look at that in the context of the game. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to be going through this list. We're going to file most of this stuff on GitHub, and the stuff that we do tackle is going to be very minor stuff like this that I can get done fast enough that it's just probably easier to tackle it than to file an issue. So it almost necessarily means that the work I'm doing is throwaway work. I mean, it will help. I have seen people get confused by this. Oh, this is a lot of text to put here. But yeah. All right, clarify. Whoop, that didn't work. Clarify how to open the quick move menu. I don't think we need to capitalize that. All right, this should just be 2 string changes. Yep. When he said via Discord that he didn't find himself wanting more systems, but he wanted us to expand on what we have, leveling up battle locations to get more loot. He also suggested some way of leveling up customers. All right, so I think we mentioned customer flavor in a couple different places. Yeah, here. Let me just change this to customer flavor. And then say this. Overview. This issue contains a bunch of ideas for how to flesh out customers. It probably shouldn't be in GitHub at all since it's not really actionable yet. All right, then the ideas themselves. So this is give customers flavor text when you click them. Show stats about specific customers when you click them. Related to 430. What is 430? Zepslime looks with interest. To serve man, it's a cookbook. Oh, saving customers. Yeah. Note that we would need to save/load customers 430. Gonna have a customer glow every once in a while. And then Windy said the idea of leveling up customers. I guess I'll write that down here. Windy suggested a way of leveling up customers. Perhaps we have a building like the tavern that shows how many items desires you've filled. This gives you another reason to fulfill them. Then once done, the customers could tip more or buy more stuff. Maybe this could replace shiny loot. And then he mentioned that this would be a way of exploring the world of the workers and customers since they feel somewhat disconnected right now. Yeah. Okay, so he wanted to potentially level up battle locations to get more loot. We sort of talked about this before, and one of the things I was worried about back then is what if you get into a case where you can't win the next location? But we could just make it, so that that's not even possible. Like right now you get location A, then B, then C, and the only way you can get, like you can't get the next location without beating the current one. So if we allow upgrades, then we could just make it so that you can only upgrade one at a time. Then you need to defeat that location to prove you're not soft locking yourself. There are some really weird edge cases where maybe you have like a 1% win rate and you end up upgrading all the locations based on this 1%, and now you take a really, really long time to end up beating it, but I don't really think that's a concern. And if it is, we could address it then. Now, with that said, is this something I even want to do? Because I think this is something that a lot of idle games do, is just like, let's, anything with a number, we're going to make it so that there are 40 upgrades for that thing. Like, is it interesting to upgrade the forest? And I think it answers the question of why would you come back here if you unlock later locations? And there are some reasons. Yeah, so reasons to go back to an old location. Get some amount of money with your extra adventurers. Fulfill customer desires. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, or like get some amount of progress on your farm / pond. Anything else? Yeah, nothing else for now, I guess. Sad dad walks around, and if you examine it, you get text like the skeleton reminds me a lot of little Timmy. He used to wear the same shirt all the time. Let's just copy paste that into the list. Okay. So if we allowed you to level up locations, then we could give you even more of a reason to go back, in that the loot could be better or more valuable or more numerous. I'm not sold on the idea, but we also don't need to really think about it right now. I can just put this into our ideas list. We probably even have it on here somewhere. Oh, hey, we have this. Maybe you can even level up the customers somehow. Chef vendor. Hey, maybe. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in. Every time I see your name on Twitch now, I remember asking you how you pronounce your name originally, and you said it's like maybe. But then I thought maybe it was supposed to sound like it's got an accent, and it's like maybe. But anyway, welcome in, and hi everybody. We are triaging a bunch of issues today. I have a Google Doc where I just kind of dump everything, and it's 34 pages long, and the entirety of the document is now 63,000 characters. Oh no, I know it's maybe. I know. I'm just pontificating over here. I even have your name written down as maybe here. My surname is May. Gotcha. All right, I see. Anyway, yeah, like I said, we're triaging some issues here, and otherwise we're working on Skeleseller at large. is that like an extension. This thing down here, this is just built in through word count. If you just check this box, display word count while typing, and I have it set to show the number of characters. Normally, the number of characters in a document really doesn't matter too much, but in this case, I'm just using it as a gauge for how quickly are we burning down the list. So we started this task on Monday and we had 77,000, and now we're down to 63,000. So we've gotten rid of about 19% of the list. Oh, the thing that lets you have custom nickname. Yeah, that's better Twitch TV. Sorry, it's always hard to tell with the delayed nature of this. So wait, what did we just talk about here then? Leveling up locations, yeah. So I think we'll file this for now, and I'm not going to actually do this yet. When we add new locations, we're probably going to add them off to the right, and we'll probably add another, I don't know, 10 locations or something maybe. It's pretty nice. One thing to keep in mind, though, is it's just saved to your browser. So if you ever, let's say, wipe out your computer or, I don't know, just something else, like you could lose all of those saved names. There's a way to export them, but I don't know how many people actually do that. So I figure I'll just lose them eventually. I do occasionally throw my computer out the window. I do all the time. Sometimes it's just good exercise, really. Okay, so could allow for leveling up battle locations. This could, I guess let's put this here. Hang on a second. Yeah, this could give you more of a reason to go to outdated locations. We could increase the amount of loot, the value of the loot, or there was another idea I had, right? Or the quality of the loot. Yeah, actually, this has been suggested a couple times. He meant it. I threw my Windows machine out the windows. Okay, so there are two ways you can expand on something with depth or breadth. And this is talking about depth for this one, of increase the amount of times you would do a location. So yeah. By the way, maybe, what'd you end up doing on stream today? A point you brought up a few times that the game is called Skeleseller, but you're not always selling stuff. I think part of the reason is that item stacking messes up the whole economy. Maybe we could add a perk like duplication for the extractor. You put a potion in, and if your potion shop has free space, there's a 1% chance that an item is created in your shop. You'd be able to just put it right back in the extractor, but at least your potion shop would have stuff in it. This is okay as an idea. Some client work, then just bug hunting on my app, but I kept getting raided and distracted, so a lot of good chats. Not a lot of work. I think it's nice to have a balance. I think days where I'm like, where chat is pretty much dead, I am pretty productive, but then I always think like, well, why'd I even stream then? I know why I stream. Still for the accountability of it all. Productivity is kind of the main metric in this stream. The issue that we have in the game is that item stacking is so powerful. To go from having one item to 2 items is a 100% increase, which means everything starts getting more efficient in your town. So when you get this upgrade, it's like it revolutionizes what you're doing. And that means that if people don't prioritize it because they don't understand the impact, that they're going to be worse off. And if you do understand the impact, then you're going to prioritize this and probably nothing else. So I'm kind of torn on this stuff. Hey, Codex. No, yeah, I know. It's streaming for lurkers too. Yeah. Should only stack 1.5 potions. Actually, that would be an interesting way of solving this, right? Like you get a 1/10 of a potion or something. It's I don't want to do it, but yeah, it would be interesting. The other thing we could potentially do is say there's like a chance of workers stacking stuff. So you can stack up to 2x, but workers only do it like 10% of the time. So it doesn't totally destroy your economy. The other things we could do, I guess, just ideas around this stuff. So one is implement a chance of workers stacking stuff rather than a guarantee. Another is that we give the upgrade to everyone so that you don't have to choose when to prioritize it, which could lead to you never getting it if you don't understand the impact. What else could we do? Start with item stacking to, let's say, like 2x, like to 3x or 4x. Then upgrades let you go to 5x or 6x so that it's less of a boost. Hey, Smoo. Instead of having one potion item, you could have one set of potions for sale and increase the number of potions in it slowly. Yeah, that's basically this idea. I know a thing or two about that. Do you now, Ramy? Do you? What are other high-level ideas we could do here? Could make stacking only affect one part of the town at a time. E.g., stacking only lets you put more items on shelves, but workers still carry one at a time. Customers only buy one at a time. This is pretty interesting. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So there could be like item display stacking, lets shops and the warehouse hold more. Then there could be customer purchasing or like bulk purchasing, lets customers buy all items at once. And then bulk moving lets workers move all items at once. Okay, that might be better. And this could all just be one upgrade. Could be a linear upgrade. So first you get display stacking at level 1. And then level 2 you get, which one's worse? The purchasing or the moving? I don't know. Anyway, you get one of them. Yeah, let's just say bulk purchasing. I don't actually need to come up with this right now. And then the level 3 you get bulk moving. Now, is that bad? Is that good? Yeah, to Salesforce isn't hiring any new hires. We're encouraged to use Cursor to augment our code. So now all tasks we have entry level is now prompts. That does sound cooked. Yeah, the Microsoft layoffs just happened yesterday. They cut, I think, 6,000 people. What? This is like the worst website. Look at how many. Never mind. Just, is there a better site I can use for this? Is it this updated on? It's, yeah, that was yesterday. Cutting 3% of its workforce. Yeah, amount to about 6,000 workers. I wonder how many of those people are going to go apply to Salesforce or something, and how many will just not end up having a job afterward. Man, it's an interesting time. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about some of this stuff, and he said something along the lines of, like, about a decade ago, the software industry was in a much better state and kind of everyone could get jobs and you just made a ton of money. And now it seems more like you have to be very serious about the job you're getting, which makes sense. These are all mega businesses and they want to save money even on their workers. Feeling big tech will do the same. Only way to get hired as a new hire is to be an intern, and we barely get those now. Yeah, I'm not sure how people are going to get experience. And every once in a while, people ask me for advice on like, oh, hey, how do I find a job now? And I'm like, the last time I looked for a job was about 4 years ago. And maybe my advice would still have some merit to it, but like probably things have changed enough in 4 years even where it's not going to be all that relevant. And even how people interview has changed. I'm not saying like leak code isn't a thing anymore, but it's just like, well, now there are algorithms out there that use AI to solve leak code for you. They know enough. They've been trained on the data. Getting a job right now is unhinged. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the other thing, and I sort of attribute this to Twitter, but when Elon took over Twitter, there were like a massive amount of layoffs, right? It wasn't like 80% of the workforce or something. Anyway, I'm not sure the exact number, but I feel like he sort of paved the way for this strategy of cut stuff, and if it didn't work, uncut the stuff, as opposed to don't cut the stuff in the first place. And this is a somewhat brutal strategy when it comes to people's jobs and livelihood. But from a business perspective, it seems like it's been working for these companies. So that's why I think we've seen a rise in layoffs. I don't think it's any post-pandemic thing. I think it's just like, well, enough companies realize there's no backlash for doing this. So we're just going to do this now. Cut twice and measure once. Yeah. Know what it sounds like. Not just be senior engineers augmented with AI and jobs will keep getting offshored. What jobs will be offshored though, if they're just senior engineers? It sounds like that those jobs won't even move. They'll just turn into AI. Last time you did, you were already a well enough established developer. Your experience with applying is way different from. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I recognize that some people are asking something like, "How do I find a job?" and some people are asking, like as a college grad or as a senior developer or something like that. This generic question is something I might have been able to chime in on, and then these sorts of things are things I could chime in on. This I have no idea. This is just a big question mark to me right now. I have no clue how you find a job as a college grad at this point. Senior engineer job get backfilled in India right now for my work. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, so it's you're talking about every part of the spectrum at that point. Junior engineers have now ceased to exist almost, and the senior jobs are getting offshored. So it's like, how do we cut costs in every aspect? Oh man, this is why that expression exists. Make hay while the sun is out. Maybe the time to shine is gone. Anyway, I do like this idea. I think we should probably write this down though. Like, think of what we're doing when it comes to item stacking. Do I have this written down? Nope, I don't. Consider changing item stacking. Okay, I'm just gonna file all this over here. I like the idea of a duplication perk. I think we have this written somewhere else anyway. Maybe I do. No, I don't. Or maybe it's in the game design thing. Yeah, here it is. 5% chance that an item gets duplicated when phasing through the portal. Yeah. Okay. So Windy brought this up when he played. Oh, here's why I say this. On April 23rd. April 23rd, 2025. The game is called Skeleseller, but you're not always selling stuff. I think part of this is because item stacking messes up the whole economy. So some ideas, basically these that didn't paste correctly, but we'll just open this up in ghost text. Where did the rest of that go? Here it is. E.g., item stacking changes into a linear upgrade with 3 levels. And then we put all this stuff there. Display stacking, that's this. Bulk purchasing, that's this. And then bulk moving is this. Or we did, I don't know. An only semi-related idea is that we could add a perk like duplication. You put a potion in, blah, blah, blah. You just be able to put a regular extractor. Yeah, okay. I think that's probably good. Let's create that. Feel like it's mostly in America, Silicon Valley, big tech problem. It's here in the Netherlands. This isn't really happening. Granted, we don't have a lot of those huge companies, but laws here are more protective. Oh yeah. Employee rights in the U.S. are generally worse across the board, I think, than in other countries. But still, that's assuming you got the job, right? What if they just never even offered the job or didn't have to offer the job? And I don't know if things are going to change in that direction in something like the Netherlands, or maybe there are protections around that. They could certainly pass a law saying something like you need, uh, I don't know, some like limit on AI usage, or I don't know how they measure that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen in the US anytime soon. Have another level of harvesting efficiency that costs a ton and harvest the whole farm. Is this a good idea or is this a dumb idea? So here's what we have right now. When you build the farm, you can get an upgrade called harvesting efficiency, which says lets you harvest 5 crops at once. So if I have all of these right now and I click, I'm harvesting one at a time. If I get this, I can now harvest 5 at a time. Should there be another level of this upgrade that lets you harvest every single one of them? So you just click once. Melzy, thanks for the resub. What is that emote? Oh, it's SpongeBob. It doesn't look like SpongeBob when it's very tiny. Thank you. Would people buy it? Like your workers do harvest crops on their own. It's just that that's their lowest priority thing that they do. So as soon as I have items on the ground, let's say, now they're going to stop harvesting. And that's fine because probably you'd want them to do this when you could click, especially when you can click 5 at a time by doing that. So yeah, the only question is then do we have another upgrade that pretty much trivializes the farm? I guess it's pretty similar to the auto harvest thing that I have. Do I? I think we filed an issue on that. Auto harvest. Yeah, here it is. Alternative idea. We could have another level of harvesting efficiency that costs a ton and harvest the whole farm. Yeah, let's just leave it like that for now. All right, if you unlock auto casting but don't use it within a minute or so, we should pop up a tip. Uh, hmm. I think people have fallen into this trap. So you have the enchanter, you unlock auto casting. The way that it works is it puts these little crystals in front of the spell books, and you have to click one of them to turn on auto casting. Now, anytime you have the mana, it's gonna cast this spell. Or you could change which one is selected. So basically, what if you upgrade that and don't realize it? Yeah, I think we should do this. I'll file an issue for it. Unemployed with about 20 years of experience and heavy experience in modern frameworks and concepts. If a recruiter even responds, half the rejections in the process are just unhinged. Got rejected because I didn't live within 50 miles of a city for a fully remote job that I live about 100 miles from. Man, you know what I think would really benefit people applying for jobs, although it would also potentially hurt the people who have the jobs to offer, is if there were a little bit more feedback in the process. Like in that particular case, this assuming this is what their real reason is, this is silly. Like they should just not post a fully remote job or include it in the job posting somewhere. And and then rejecting you should have been a hint for them to be like, huh, we should make sure this doesn't happen again. So like the system should be reinforced somehow. But I guess there are enough people who are trying to sort of rip off the system who would just be able to take advantage of that. Like, oh, hey, we suspected you of cheating on the interview would basically be a signal for I should get better at cheating then. Previously been a contract engineer. This is weird stuff. I guess that so one of the things I heard from someone who worked in this general realm is that AI has so drastically shifted the playing field such that if I were to post a job on a site, I don't know, like Fiverr maybe, that I'd get like 500 applicants. And that was not how things worked 10 years ago. So you might think, oh, there's a ton of demand out there for what I'm doing. Yeah, I can fill this job super easily. And it turns out it's all kind of AI trash you have to sift through. Even when my LinkedIn closed to applications, I get a recruiter ad and message for me about a software engineer position at least once a month. Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much of this stuff is automated already through AI. Hey, Blue Jack. It's going well. We're making some progress, chatting a bit. All right, so show a tip when you unlock auto casting but never use it. Yeah. Rationale, there are people who get it without reading the perk and expect it to do something on its own. Maybe we should also wait for you to have enough mana, meaning you've stopped manually casting spells. Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, Campbell Soup. Hey, Trackley. Never seen that before. Certainly don't have a spreadsheet of shirts. I actually did get a new shirt. I just haven't ironed it yet, so I haven't worn it. Yeah, this is made in Godot. Yeah. Maybe show a skeleton counter somewhere in the UI, and when hovering over that number, say the names of all the ones you've hired. I think if we revamp an on-screen UI, that we could do that. Yeah, I'll just put this into here. No, I don't need to do that. Okay. You know what I would love? There's got to be an extension that does this. Can there just be a pencil button here that lets me edit this? For whatever reason, this exists in some contexts, but not in other ones. Like, I don't know where it exists now. What is this? 2 hours ago. I didn't even see this. Oh, oh, I actually didn't intend for this to ever happen, so I'll have to review this. I think I wanted to basically force the player to repeat the very first battle. So maybe this isn't something I wanted, but I only briefly glanced at it. Yeah, anyway, I want there to be an edit button there. Is that like not a thing you can do? What do I use? Refined GitHub? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Is there a way to change the, I guess we could just go look at this. Extensions, manage extensions. Hang on a second. Engage privacy mode. I don't know what this is going to show. So let me do this. All right, where is, there it is, refined GitHub details. Where are the options for this? I don't know. I can't find it. Extension options. Ah, there we go. Custom CSS button link. Debugging, hotfix, export options. I don't know. This isn't worth it. All you need to be able to do is ask ChatGPT. I will have ChatGPT generate prompts for itself, do my work for me. All right, so if we're gonna do this, we should also just add this here. Wendy also suggested adding a skeleton counter somewhere in the UI, and when hovering over that number, we show the names of all the ones you've hired. Cool. Could have adventurers battling the pond right there in the overworld. That's probably a bit crazy to implement. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to write this down. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to write this down. Was the archer getting upgraded while fishing somehow? I should test this out. I don't think this is possible. But yeah, it should be very easy to test. So let's just go test it. I guess let's just start a new game. Okay, so we need the fishing pond. Then we need to throw anyone into a battle with it. Doesn't have to be the archer, but I guess we might as well just have it be the archer. So let's go over here, send the archer into battle. So what should happen is, yeah, they're doing like 6 damage at a time and upwards of 15 depending on the ability. But now as I upgrade the archer, nothing should change in that battle. So I'm going to put points into this and this and this. Oh, wow, their damage is increasing. Did they get new skills somehow? They don't look like they're using the new skills. Oh, I guess we could find out by just doing that. No, there's no way they're getting new skills. Because those are copied over. Okay. That is not what I expected, but that's fine. I don't consider this a bug. We do right here that changes in skills only take effect in future battles. But apparently your stats take effect immediately. I don't write that down, but I think that's okay. And I think this is how people would want this to work. They would probably want the skills to take effect immediately, but it would only really make sense in the fishing battles. In other battles, I don't want you to have to like micro manage your adventurers. Yeah, I'll just delete this one. All right, maybe the later instances can start only dropping rare loot. Nothing is guaranteed. Ice daggers, sparkling armor, etc. Then if you upgrade locations, you can get their drop rates to go through the roof. I might as well write this for whatever that issue we just talked about was, which is leveling up locations, which I think I put in the design document. Level... No. Wait, yes, I did put this in there. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. We could even make it so that later locations aren't guaranteed to drop any loot. E.g., maybe there's a 25% chance of getting an ice sword. And it's not until you upgrade the location that its drop rate goes up. Okay, so I think we've covered all of that. File task about making the golem and the enchantress. Enchantress? I'd love to know when I wrote this. But the only way to find that is through like binary searching through the version history. The paid version of Google Docs, like Google Workspace or whatever, does have a feature for that. You just right click and go to show editors or something like that, but it doesn't exist here. And that feature is so nice. And OneNote does that by default. Oh, the enchantress is the is a boss. Okay, hold on. Let me copy a link to this thing. Create the golem. Rock graphic here. Evil versions of adventure. This is so cool. Quickie Joe put a lot of work into getting a bunch of the evil looking adventurers here. Or like shadow adventurers the enchantress would summon. It's so amazing. All right, let's go add that in. We don't have that already, do we? No, let's file an issue. Add the enchantress boss. Quickie Joe made like shadow adventurers and intended for the enchantress to be a boss that summons them. Graphics are here. All right, super cool. Yeah, look at this GIF. It's just to kind of show how this thing would work. So cool. All right. Include the graphics from this message. What is this message? Oh, yeah. That's what I just filed. Okay, so we don't need to do that. All right, demo feedback. This is from 074. I did not write down a date for this, but we could kind of find out. Although it's probably not even worth trying to find out. Oh, you know what we could do? We could just search Twitch for... Hang on. Skeleseller. And then just see last month. How do you see the date? You don't. Okay, maybe if we click the video. Still just says last month. Come on, Twitch. Hovering over it sometimes will show you on other websites what the exact date is, but it doesn't show it here. Fine. I really need to slowly introduce town perks. Was it 14 days ago? It said last live 14 days ago, which I didn't think was when the VOD was. And 14 days ago would have just barely put us into, it would have been the end of April. But yeah, anyway. All right, need to slowly introduce town perks. We have this written down in Level Up the Town Hall. Yeah, allow incrementally unlocking perks. These two things should be linked to one another, are they? This is linked to 611, yeah. Maybe I should just say this is related to 736. All right, need tips to wiggle when they've been around for a while. Let's go take a look at that. Because I have seen this problem occur for a bunch of different people. Playing the game, these things go away on their own, that's fine. But if we speed this up, oh, this might be based on, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there. It says you have enough money to hire another adventurer. Now, this is something you will almost certainly do without needing the tip, but this does help new players. So let's say a minute passes and you haven't done anything. What if this just like wiggled the box a little bit just to catch your attention? I'm like, yeah, I think we could do that. Table houses. I'll just write it down. April 15th. Got it. Wiggle tips when a player hasn't interacted with them or after they've been on screen for too long. I've seen a few players just sort of ignore tips and leave them on the screen. This is bad for a few reasons. One, the tip itself is trying to tell them something. And two, a tip being on the screen prevents any other tips from showing up. We should probably wiggle them every minute that they've been open just to attract some attention to them. You know, what thought struck me the other day? So I've been kind of complaining about this a little bit, but that there are people who will play the entire game and read nothing. And again, this is just a funny idea. I'm not actually talking about doing this, but it would be interesting if we detected that, like, oh, hey, they clicked a tip and they didn't possibly read it and then they didn't act on it. And we got enough signals that they didn't read. If we threw them into like a totally different game mode where all of a sudden they click something and it's like a paragraph shows up of like a math problem they have to solve. And if they don't do it, we just start subtracting money from them and like their adventurers leave them and then they start losing all the battles because the enemies get stronger. I just love the joke idea of this. But obviously this is incredibly hostile toward your player base and it's a lot to code. But wouldn't it be funny? Then it turns out some like 6-year-old who can't read English or something is playing the game, and then we like lock them into this hostile form of the game. Only monsters can have pop-ups or tooltips on their screen and continue playing without closing it. Yeah, I guess there was something I did in Botland that I thought was kind of interesting. There was, if you clicked the same thing too many times, I kept increasing the font size and then adding like rage emojis to it. And it was just a little funny Easter egg that pretty much nobody ever found naturally. But I wonder if we just kept slowly increasing the font size until this took up like the entire screen. Said like, hey, you need to do this thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I think at least we filed that as an issue. Make a bigger battle screen for bosses. This is something lots of people have commented on. And I think one of the ways we talked about this was, what if we didn't even let you have more than one battle window open when you were fighting a boss? There's no real reason for you to change that in the game right now. Full screen the dip after 10 minutes. Play a screen reader thing. Did you know that you could hire an adventurer? There's no speeding it up. Every time you try rage clicking away from it, we slow down the voice. Did you know? Oh man, that would bother so many people. I think, like I said, it's just a funny thought in my mind. But if you actually did this, it would probably actually bother people. I think the only time something like that's probably okay is if you've certainly detected that someone has pirated the game and then you start messing with them. I feel like that's okay. And I've heard of games doing this. All right, so if we go to the trailer, there is this part. So in the original trailer, this part was super blurry because what I did is I took the normal size battle window in the game, which is this big, and I just zoomed in with my video editing software. So imagine trying to get this to take up the full screen size. It would look blurry and bad. Wait for text to show up. Okay, yeah, like that 14. When you zoom in, this is now blurry because it got upscaled. But in the video now it looks great because I upscaled it through the game directly. Anyway, this is what boss battles could look like. We could just make it take up the whole screen. And yeah, while it's playing, that's it. That's all you're looking at. And I kind of like that idea. Have you heard about the old Spyro 2 anti-piracy protection? It would randomly lose progress, drop eggs you'd collected, drop gems, close levels you'd unlocked. No, I hadn't heard about that. Hey, man. What are we in on? You mean what are we talking about? Or what was the joke idea from earlier? You could also make the load times artificially longer unless people read the hints and then show the hint full screen on the loading screens. Okay, that's kind of funny because they wouldn't know that I'm doing that. Oh, I think Kevin was talking about my joke idea. My joke idea was basically like when we detect that someone is skipping all text in the game, we get increasingly hostile toward them. Like make enemies harder, unhire, or like, yeah, I guess fire your adventurers, make you lose money, force you to read stuff, solve math equations. Kind of knowing how things went missing, huh? They shouldn't have pirated it. That's pretty funny. Speedrunner's gonna love it. Yeah, there'd have to be a setting like speedrunner mode that you unlock after beating the game once, and they could just turn it on. Okay, so did we write anything about this? Boss battles? Maybe we wrote it as boss. No. Ah, here, this one. Yeah, just this one. That's for a way to make a battle larger. Make all the battles larger. Could be a maximize button. I mean, I do think we should probably just have a maximize button, but I also think that if you're fighting a boss, that should be the only focus you can really have. So maybe I should write this here. Boss consideration. Perhaps when you're fighting a boss, you're forced to have the window be maximized. Maybe for the first time. And it closes all other windows and prevents you from starting new battles. It would just bring a lot of attention and importance to the boss battle. Yeah, man, I have not liked this ever since it was in the game, and I still don't like it, and I still want this to be changed. I don't like that there are these massive plots of land that show that, oh, hey, a building's gonna go here. I much prefer them being like this, where it's just in the woods, and then you build this thing, and it's like the path existed there the whole time. Like now this fits in the world. Also, we might as well delete that one blue flower there. I don't know what that's doing there. Environment. All right, blue flower. I don't like you, and you don't like me. And there you are. Time to pay. Done. Whoa. What is that? World.tres dash and then an ID. Oh, it went away. Okay. Adam hates flowers. Well, they can't grow on cobblestone. Remove flowers that were growing on stone. It was just one patch of the flowers near the farm. One tile of blue flowers. There we go. Dandelions would like to have a word. Oh, I know they find a way. Are blue dandelions a thing? Well, if you search for anything, it'll show up. That doesn't mean these exist. That exists though. Yeah, maybe it is. Reminded me that I too could succeed against all odds. I don't think this game would need like 100 million players before someone would ever realistically complain about that. 200 million players. Cost for the second skill on one adventurer shouldn't be the same as the cost of the first skill. We already changed this. Maybe when an adventurer levels up to an even level, it should show a more visible message you've gotten a skill point. That way you know you have one to spend. Yeah, I think having something here, like you click level up, if I click it again, it's going to give me a skill point. If it popped up some floating text or something that said like plus skill point. Well, watch me not write it down, Ravy. Let's try this. Let's see how easy it would be to do this. Because this is already in screen space, right? How do we add this? We add it to the UI, I believe. Yeah, we do. So I think we can just add this here. Loading text. Create without camera. Oop, that's not what I want. I want this one. All right. Now we go to the level up button. Where are you button? Here you are. And now where is your pressed event? There it is, level up adventurer. So we're going to do this here. Floating text create. All right, so we need a parent. Let's just say it's this. We need, just copy paste all this stuff over there. So I don't have to keep waiting for that. All right, now we need the text, testeroni. Now we need the position. It's going to be, I guess, the level up button's position. It's got to be the global position though, right? Now we need a color. Maybe green or dark green. And we need a scenario. UI sticky, UI something. What's it called? UI message. Okay, how does that look? Because I think this will help people. Let's try it. Oh wait, I can't do it this way. Because I'm tricking it into leveling up that way. I need to not trick it. I need to build the farm, save, and then I guess save again. There we go. Now I click this. All right, so it showed up there. which is very bad. Maybe we just say that it's on the level up button, and then we don't need to do anything special. We could just say that it's a 0, vector2.0. We probably do need to give it a bigger font size. Font size equals 24. All right, how's that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so now we want it to be at the center of the button. So we could do level up button dot size divided by 2. And then this could say plus skill point. And that should only happen when you've actually hit a level that gives you a skill point, which means we need to know what their level is. If AC.level %2 equals 0. All right, that should do it. This is the new level because we already called level up, which is why this should work. So now whenever we get an even number level up, so this first one is, well, we should raise the text a little bit, but otherwise that looks pretty good. Now I click it again, it should not show up. Now I click it again, it should show up. Yeah. Now it will technically show up whenever you open or close that. I think that's fine. Yeah. And we could add an extra nudge here saying vector2.up times 10. Why is that not a thing? What? What's the problem here? It's a vector 2. Oh, wait. There's no comma. I think the AI had typed it in and I didn't know it wasn't there. So this will nudge in an extra 10 pixels, which might look good, might not. I don't know. That's why we're testing this. I think it's got to be like 30 pixels. Might be too much. It's still going to start at the center of the button. That part I thought was fine as long as it moves up faster. Yeah. Is that good? It should also make a sound, right? Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. I don't think it should last for that long. The only thing controlling its length right now is the UI message part of this. Where is that? UI message lasts for 4 seconds. Is 2 seconds long enough to see that? Battle sticky? It probably won't be. Although maybe it shows for 2 seconds and then it fades out over the course of half a second or something, so it's showing for long enough. I mean, it's very quick text. Or short text, I should say. Yeah, that looks good. I think that's good. Yeah. I think that's decent. Okay, so how do we know that this is what gives you an extra skill point, though? Do I have this hard-coded anywhere? Equals 2. No, we don't have it there. We must do... No, it's just coded into this. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Should probably all be in one spot, though, but yeah. All right, so show +1 skill point when appropriate. This shows as floating text in the adventurers panel to make it more obvious that you've gotten a skill point. Cool. Quick move menu should tell you why an item couldn't be moved. When hovering the targets, it can say something like shop full. I think we have this about invalid destinations. Yeah. I'll just add a new thing here. This is also problematic when using the quick move menu. I guess I'll just maybe leave it at that. General cases where we want this. Not enough space for shops, the warehouse, etc. Extractor is full. What else do we have? Yeah, like extractor can't accept that item type or can only accept potions. We may even want to show on hover why something can't be accepted. Oh, it's only if it's easy to do. All right, maybe the dragging the camera should have a higher required movement amount. Let's take a look at that. There's some threshold. Dragging epsilon. Set to 1. What if we set it to 5? Whoops. I typed 5e. I think it's not going to build. Oh, no. Weird. Okay, so I drag by 5 pixels. It seems like more than 5. Seems like much more than 5. Oh, it's 5 on a single frame. Interesting. Oh, I didn't know it worked that way. So if I drag slowly enough, I'll never actually move the camera. Very interesting. If I drag quickly, it does work that way. Okay. And then maybe setting it to 2 would be good. We should probably clarify that this needs to be escaped in a single frame. Or maybe that was never the goal here. Indeed. Well, I set it to 2 pixels. Let's see how this feels. So you went too slowly and it just didn't move. Yeah. So now if I move 1 pixel at a time, it's never going to drag. But as soon as I move at least 2 pixels, preventing accidental drag when clicking. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there are like 2 ways we could accomplish this. One is make sure the user exceeds a certain threshold of movement on any given frame. And the other is make sure the user has dragged a far enough distance away from the starting point. And I thought this is how it was going to work. But it's the first way is how it works. I think this will also prevent accidental clicks, but it'll feel more natural, I think. Because if I'm dragging slowly, this does mean I want to drag the camera. I'm just not dragging quickly enough to trigger that threshold. Let me try the other way. So for that, we need to know where we started the drag. Started dragging dot invoked. Yeah, we need to keep track of where we dragged from. Delta of movement is greater than minimum of movement. I don't know what you're trying to communicate, right? Are you saying you prefer method 1 over method 2? I mean, I prefer delta over minimum. Well, they're both deltas in each case, and there's a minimum in each case too. It's just that the minimum is either distance or it's over the. Actually, it's distance in either way. It's just distance in one frame or distance in many frames. So we keep track of a velocity. We don't have any other vector 2s here, do we? No, we don't. Okay, so fine. So let's do vector 2 drag. Yeah, drag start position, sure. Okay, so when you click, started dragging. Yeah, so set the drag start position. And then here, this is motion event dot relative. We want the motion event's position minus the drag start position, and then to make sure that this is greater than the dragging epsilon. And now the epsilon can be set to something like 5. Let's try it. Whoa, it is not working. What did I mess up? We just want to know that the delta itself is less than this thing, or I guess the distance to. Yeah, we want distance to. Or you do distance squared to and square the epsilon as well. One involves no square root. Let's just do distance to. Cannot implicitly convert a float to a vector to float. Delta. Okay, so this is basically just that delta is greater than the dragging epsilon. Distance can never be negative, right? No, because, well, no. I hope not. And then position minus equal delta divided by zoom. This delta now can be the motion event dot relative. Yeah, that should do it. Okay, so we drag a little bit. It doesn't do anything. Once we have 5 pixels, it moves like how I would expect. Yeah, nice. All right, so what should that distance be that we know that you want to move it? I think 5 is probably not enough. Let's try 10 and see what that feels like. How is that 10 pixels? Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now it should move. Yeah, okay, I guess it is. Just doesn't seem like 10. Oh, because when it's diagonal, it's not going to actually be 10 pixels because I'm moving. That doesn't matter what I'm trying to say. Wait, though, isn't that wrong then? Hang on, let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That shouldn't be how that works. But maybe I didn't move in exactly a 45-degree angle. Anyway, yeah, I think this is pretty good. It still feels natural when I'm moving the camera around, but now it won't trigger on small enough clicks. And it used to be just when you moved at least 1 pixel in a given frame, which probably pretty much always happened. Yeah. All right, can we still move items and stuff? Yep. Yeah, I think this feels good. Hey, Goose, how you doing? Okay, so can we update this comment? I think that's the only other question I have. What does the comment say? We need to track whether we've already dragged the camera. If we didn't do it yet, check if the mouse moved enough. The effect of doing it this way is that when the player first starts dragging, it needs to pass a certain threshold to be considered moving the camera, which allows us to ignore excellent small. Yeah, that's still fine. Cool. All right, so change how camera movement works. It used to be that we required the user to move X pixels in a single frame, which meant that you could start dragging, move the mouse 1000 pixels away, but very slowly, and it wouldn't drag the camera. Now we just check for that total distance. Hey, Drew. Had a blast finishing the demo last night. Can't wait for the full release. Amazing job on what you built so far. Well, thank you. Next, saw your message. I cannot take full credit for this. So do take a look at the result of that command, which, yes, eventually did print out. I'm glad you had fun. How'd you find out about the game? Was it through the stream? Just check. Now I just check for that total distance regardless of how many frames it took to hit it. Yeah. All right, hopefully that does feel better. Maybe naming adventurers just lets you see their names where they already show up. So if you name your cleric Alice, it'll show as Alice. We've talked about this here and there, naming adventurers. I don't know if I have an issue open on this. No. But it might be in the design document. Naming, name. Yeah, adventurer names, even just randomizing them. We only need to show this where they show right now. In other words, the names don't need to appear in the town view. I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's take a look at how many characters we've gotten rid of. So far today, about 4,500. We need to do 12 times that amount. Oh, man. I don't plan on doing this all day, by the way. I think we're going to do this before lunch, and then I think we need to just do like an hour of this every day or something. The problem is every time I say that, I don't stick to it. I just ignore this, and then the list grows. I imagine as we approach the bottom, more things will get dropped fast. Maybe some of these things are sort of difficult to work through. You mean edit the document? No. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're just going to keep going through this, doing more triage. Is it jump time? It's jump time. For those of you on Twitch, you can join by typing join, and then jump with J and a number. I'll be back in a few minutes. Have fun. All right, hello again, everybody. It's time to stand. Oh, which means it's time to disconnect something. Hang on a second. Okay, hopefully nothing drops off of my desk. How are we doing? So many cables. Okay, cool. Well, uh-oh, that did not sound good. Hang on a second. Something just lurched on my desk. It's probably good enough. Hey, James. All right, close the game. Okay, consider increasing the size of perk icons just so people can appreciate the art a bit more. We could show them in the tooltip or something like that. I don't. I'm a little torn. How much space do we have to show costs? Like if I go to recycler perks, for example, and I make the first one cost, let's say, what was that? That spooked me. Something just fell in this room and I don't see what fell and no one else is here. So no idea what's going on. There's a ghost. All right, let's try that. So how many digits can fit? Yeah, pretty much all of them. We can fit 6. I guess 7 would be tough. We could also just expand the size of these a little bit. Most of the time, it's not going to be a problem. You in a haunted house? I mean, I am now, apparently. Hey, Axel. All right, these show up for pretty much everything, though, right? Like even these, yeah. I wonder what size they are now. They're probably 64 by 64. But where do we even have that? Is it skill button? Icon, yeah, 64 by 64. Okay, how about we take some pictures before I mess this up? So here's a picture of the skill screen. And now we need a picture of one of the perk screens. Maybe the town perks. Yeah, and then should I even take another one? Maybe just that. Maybe this one. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now let's bump it up to 96 by 96. And is that all we need to change? No, let's find out. Because I don't actually know. Okay, well, they now look too big, that's for sure. And then these didn't get modified at all. So it's I do need to change multiple. I mean, you can definitely see the art a little bit better. But even then, oh, that's weird. I can't zoom in anymore. Weird. I don't like this. No, I don't like it either. But what I was trying to see is, are the icons a little bit blurry? Because they shouldn't be. And there should be no upscaling, and they should have their textures set correctly. Oh, I can't even click things anymore. What's going on? Oh, there it goes. Is that to linear? If I said it's in nearest, does it look any better? No. Why is that happening? This... Man, I can't click anything for some reason. Something's going very wrong. Now I can. Okay. Oh, this is only 64 by 64. How might that be the case? Where is this icon located? I thought we had them all in like... Well, I thought we had them all as SVGs, actually. So they should be able to scale to any size. Icons. Ability icons. All right, what is that one called? Quick strike, maybe? I don't see it. But it shouldn't matter. We should just be able to open up any of these and take a look. Yeah, view box is set to 64 by 64. Did I do that? I don't remember. Huh. Wait a second, then this on its own is already a problem. Because at 64 by 64, that means when I 2x the game, they're going to look blurry, right? I think so. But that means that they already look blurry here. I mean, I guess they do. I don't know. Let's take one of these. Let's take this one. What is that called? Town perks. Whoops. My God, I never want to open Apple Music. No, no, no. I didn't want to close that. Oh, music. Curse you, music. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Player auto battle. Okay, your icon is called Cycle. Where are you, Cycle? There. So this one also has a view box of 64 by 64. Okay, let's set it to 128 by 128. And then change this back to 64 by 64. And then open the game again. Hey, Dito. Can you explain your keyboard? Yeah, so this is the Corn keyboard, and the general theory behind it is that you're no more than one key away from anything you need to type. So there's very little hand movement, and you can probably see that as I'm using it, right? Like I can switch tabs, I can close things, I can use keyboard shortcuts, I can type stuff, and I'm like rarely moving my hands. So the way you get this to work is with layers. So just like how in order to type an exclamation mark on your keyboard, you have to press Shift 1. I have to press a sort of a shift key for practically everything I do on the keyboard. So if I want to move the arrows, I need to hold this key. But if I want to type numbers, I have to hold this key. And that's what lets you move very little as you're using it. Okay, so we should have modified this. That's not quite what I wanted. Oh, I wrote this down somewhere. Let's go find this. SVGs. SVGs are rasterized as soon as they're loaded in Godot, whether you're running in the editor in the game, zooming in, may make it look like they scale, but that's the trick of the editor. SVGs are just XML blobs. Oh, wait, we need to modify the width and height, not the view box. The view box shouldn't matter. It doesn't have a width and height set, though. So how did this get set to 64 by 64? I need to figure this out. Size limit. There's no size limit set. Range. Hey, Raimu. My brain would explode learning to use a new keyboard setup. It wouldn't explode. It would just take some time. I think if you can learn how to use a keyboard, you can learn how to use this keyboard. Whether or not you like it, that's a different story. Because at the end of the day, some people want dedicated keys for everything. Some people want a different layout. I very much like this keyboard. Probably uses ViewBox as the default. But if I change this to 128, 128, did it get set to 128 by 128? I guess we would need to change this icon to the cycle icon. Or I just need to put this in here maybe. Yeah, I think it is using the view box. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so we can just set height equal. Do you have to put px at the end? No, you don't. And I actually want to set this to 128 by 128. So let's try that out and then load the game. So if this looks a little bit clearer than the other icons, then we know that we messed something up earlier. It's invisible. Why is it invisible? Oh yeah, I can't even render. Failed loading resource. Oh, did I make invalid? Oh, I deleted the closing thing. Whoops. Yeah. I must have, I don't know what I did, but whatever, let's fix it. What's it like when you have to use a normal QWERTY keyboard? It's fine. I haven't lost my muscle memory for it. Every once in a while, if I'm not paying attention, I will type the wrong characters because I'll think that I'm on this keyboard again. But in general, it's not too bad. Okay, wait, I'm still breaking this? There's still an X there. Strange. Should be fixed. That's all I changed, right? Yeah. And a new line at the end. Huh. Yeah, huh. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe I do have to click re-import. Oh, that fixed it. Oh, maybe it doesn't auto re-import when it broke once. And I accidentally broke it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the suggestion, Kevin. All right, we're gonna get this. Oh my God, that is night and day difference. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe this. So every icon is gonna look better if I put that into every SVG. It'll also use quadruple the memory, but that's fine. Yeah, wow. Well, that alone is, I think, all we need to do. I don't even think we need to resize these icons anymore. They'll all just get a lot clearer. So here's what I want to check. Can we do this very easily? Can I just search for this and find every single one of these? Yeah, it looks like the view boxes were always set like that. Okay, good. So how many of these do we have? 87. And how many icons do we have? Game, assets, icons, ability. Why is my computer feels laggy right now? Let me close some of these things, although this shouldn't be a problem. Let me actually open activity monitor. There's enough idle time that it shouldn't be this. OBS is using a ton, that's fine. What about memory usage? Memory usage is also fine. Huh, I don't know why it feels laggy. All right, so how many icons do we have? Star.svg, pipe into WC. We have 89, and I found 87 because I modified one manually. What's the one odd icon out? Let's delete this. So now it should find 80, or no, that shouldn't find anything different. This should find something different. Yeah. It finds 87. That doesn't sound right. 88. Okay, 88. So what's the one that we don't have? We can do this pretty easily. Check this out. All right. So we do this. And whoops, not that. My bad. We do this. Good. Then remove ability icons. Okay, so here are all the icons that these are the icons that have 6464 view box. And then if we do this and put this into PV copy, then we can get all of the ones that these are all icons. So now we just delete the SVG from these. And then just compare the two files and we'll find out which one's broken. Chicken leg and, oh wait, no, there are several of these. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I didn't get any triple. Okay, never mind. This is the same. I messed that up. This should have said open and this should have said quick. I didn't get any 3-word ones of these. But chicken leg and crystal growth don't even exist over there. Swallow, cloning icon, unused trophy. Maybe like Quickie Joe know about this too in case it's something you can configure on export. Actually, it's probably something we should look at. Like we should write a validator for. Get all icons to be 128 by 128 and write a validator for this to make sure the view box is no smaller than that. Also, technically, this is going to be a problem because anyone who sets their game scale to 3x is still going to have some blurriness there. So take a look at this. It's not obvious though. Yeah, it still looks pretty crisp. But technically this should be another 64 pixels. And I don't think it's worth doing anything about that. I also don't know who's ever going to use a game scale of this large. You have to have a pretty big monitor. All right, I'm not totally sure what's going on here. Slime swallow? Why didn't it even... What is going on? What is swallow.svg? It doesn't even show up. Which means it must be an old icon, which means we must just not be using... God, I keep doing that. You can't see white things on a white background. You should be able to see it here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this has been removed from the game, huh? Hey, Sapphire. I have a friend that always has to use that. Yeah. No, I get why people would need to set it that large. I just haven't seen someone do that yet. Although I think the odds of that happening will be pretty low. Or they have a mega monitor or something. Yeah, I think we can just delete this. Is this used anywhere? We're finding a couple issues then. Yeah, no, it's not used anywhere. I'm gonna wait for that blue bar to go away. Yep, it's not used anywhere. Okay, delete that. Well, finding a few different issues here. All right, so that can be gone. Now, which other ones stood out as problematic over here? So swallow is now gone. Cloning icon? What is cloning icon? Cloning icon. I don't even see this here. Oh, it was only on the left list? Cloning icon, what? We just have an import. That's it. So I must have deleted the icon. God, this is difficult to figure out. Do we still have it in here somewhere? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so the... Oh, wait, no, this is fine. Oh, but this has the old view box size. Okay, I see. So we could change that if we want to. That's fine. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. Fine. Unused / trophy. That's also fine. All right, what other differences do we have in this? Chicken leg and crystal growth. What do those look like? I'm guessing they're going to be pure white. Chicken leg. Yeah, looks like it. Yep. And crystal growth. Same thing, I'm guessing. Yep. Yeah, so both of these need to be deleted too. Chicken leg. Man, this is super laggy. I should just probably close everything. Crystal growth. Who wouldn't care about the crispness of the icon because you can't see it anyway? I see. Yeah, but having the option I think is pretty important. I actually kind of wondered now that we have... So what we used to do is we used to have buttons that said 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. And people would sometimes click 4x and then be in a state where the game window got huge and they wouldn't be able to fix it. Now we have a number input and you could just type something like 1.3 if you want. So I kind of wonder, should we set the maximum back up to 4 and just trust that people aren't going to set it to 4? Because we also shouldn't have a problem with you not being able to exit that. Because I wonder if your friend with the accessibility problems would set it to the absolute highest possible. It'd probably break the game at some point. Okay, so now we got to find every single one of these again. And replace it with this. Height equals 128. Width. We put the width first? Yeah, probably. Width equals 128. Height equals 128. Okay, so now I just replace every single one of those, and blam, all the icons become crisp. Revert after 5 seconds if not confirmed. Yeah, we don't do that, but we do have a way of asking for confirmation. And then it can revert itself. Yeah, so every icon should look so much better now. Let's go take a look. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's amazing. All right, so here's the side-by-side comparison. Here is the old way. Can I zoom into 100%? That's 100%. And then here's the new way. Okay, so can I put these side by side? Probably not easily. I guess I can do this though. All right, you see the difference? Looks so much better. Although for whatever reason, I feel like color temperature is different between GIMP and Shotter. How is that happening? Is that a monitor thing? No, it's not a monitor thing. I was just checking. I think it's just a program difference. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, this looks so much better. So now what about skill icons? Did those ever look bad? They must have. Yeah, they must have. Yeah, these look, oh my God, it is such a difference. I can't believe I didn't see this earlier. It's so obvious. I did take a picture of even the skills before this, but I only took it for one class, the warrior. Okay, let's go take a look at the warrior. Although the icons aren't going to be in the same order, but that's okay. We can still see the difference. So I'll take a picture of this and we'll paste that over here. And then we zoom in and yeah, look at the difference. Oh, there. Oh, I can't believe this. I just can't believe this. Well, that was basically free. We didn't have to do anything for this. But that's not even what I wanted to do. I wanted to potentially increase the size of these, although now I don't think we have to. I think they just look crisp enough where does it matter? If I set this to 1x, everything's going to look super zoomed out. Yeah, I would not play with the game on this setting. Oh, now this thing's broken. That's a different problem, though. Yeah, I think we'll just leave them like that. Wow, I still can't believe this. Okay, so I'd like to have something figure this out for me that this is bad or this is broken. We have a validator. I could write a thing that validates all the SVG files, but how would we do this? Validate SVG files. First of all, let's just get every single SVG file in the game. It should just be in the icons folder. Yeah, it is. Oh, speaking of which, I didn't check any of these. Sapphire, thanks for the sub. Welcome in. I appreciate it. Okay, let's look at some of these then. Let's load up plus.svg. What is its width and height set to? 512 and 512. That's overkill. Because how big is that going to be? It is 1 megabyte. Yeah, I don't think we ever need to show it in such a big size. So I think we can actually shrink this. And if we have it take up, 128 by 128, it goes to 64 kilobytes. So we are, what, 16 times larger than it needs to be. The problem is I don't know where plus shows up, so let's find out where it shows up. Plus shows up in the instance slot tool. Oh, it shows up super tiny. Yeah, we're definitely changing this. Let's make this 128 by 128. That should be more than enough for that. But now we need to look through every single other one of these too. All right, hold on a second. Is there an easier way to see this stuff? Yeah. All right, barn.svg. Yeah, this is for the quick move menu. I guess same thing. This can be 128 by 128. Although interesting, this is listed as a style. Cancel without circle. This just has the view box there. So yeah, width equals 128, height equals 128. Cancel. Cancel is special. No, cancel without circle is special, and then we do render it at a larger size, but I don't think it's going to be obvious. Well, we'll need to look at the intro to the game. So someone remind me if I forget. Look at the intro to the game. All right, I'm just going to do this globally, and if anything looks bad, then we'll hopefully find it. Minus paper line. Paper line. Oh, that's the horizontal rule. Oh, that one might need to be as large as it is. Is it what I'm thinking of? Paper line? It's only on the title screen. Oh, I know what it is. It's for the credits. Okay, that's fine. Plain arrow. Plus recycle. Is this even used? Item action menu. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's fine. Is it a custom graphic? It might be. Run. Shop. Tavern. Thumbs up. Thumbs up is a ping. And Valve. All right, gotta go look at the intro. Let's go take a look at that. Name validate SVG files. I never actually wrote that, did I? No. All right, let's just delete it for now. I'm not even sure how we're gonna do it. We're probably gonna load every single texture and just see what happens. All right, we gotta look at the intro. So I changed a bunch of files, but the ones inside of icons that I changed, can I take a look at just those? Game, assets, icons. Yeah, you might be able to. I guess if we just do get status. Yeah, I guess it's all these. So what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Not all of them were big though. Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do get diff rep 512. Yeah, that does it. All right, so how many of these changed? This one would have 1, 2. Wait, these have a style of 64 by 64. Oh, but that was removed. A second. I want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong here. What file is this? Chicken leg. Oh, that was deleted. Oh, right. Okay, good. Yeah, so that's fine. So we can ignore that. Crystal growth was deleted. Swallow was deleted. That's all fine. Now we get to well.svg. What? I changed this. Oh, this is only showing up because of an unrelated 512 that happened to be inside the get diff output. All right, anyway, cog. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, so 17. Okay, so we basically, I think, just freed up 17 megabytes minus some change. So maybe like 14 megabytes of VRAM just by not including icons that are super large. Pretty nice. But then I still want to validate this stuff. Let's run this again. close out of this thing. Yeah, nice. All right, I'm gonna watch the intro. Let's turn on the music for it, just so it's not super boring to watch. We're just gonna make sure that the thumbs up looks good, and that the X looks good in the various scenes. Yep, it's fine. It's gonna be a battle. There are no icons here, but then in the next scene, we're gonna ask the shopkeep for an antidote, and they're gonna put a giant X over it, and the X should still look good. No, that looks terrible. I'm glad we tested it. So we probably need to multiply the size of that by like 4 or something. It should be very easy to do. Just funny. All right, I don't think there are any other icons, right? Can I speed this up? No. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so in the shop scene, we go find where we change the scaling. Here it is. So scale started at 0.18 and went to 0.065. So I think we just multiply all this by 4. But that might not work. Oh, you should be able to see it, right? Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Yeah, because we went from 512 to 128. So we divided by 4 there, so we need to multiply by 4 here. And if we play this again, I mean, this is kind of a waste of time, but yeah, we could see. I still love that they're tucked into bed. Hey, Leftist, you're making all this up? I am. Just fill in time. I've completed Skeleseller a year ago. I'm just working through all the commits again in order to make it seem like I'm doing something on stream. Yeah, nice. Nice. All right. Wow, this was transformative. Yeah, so now for the validator part of this. Runtime validator. How do we even check this? We could just read SVG files. Alternatively, we could load in the textures and make sure they're the right size. I don't know the best way to do this. Let's just try with one of them and see if we can even do this. What am I even trying to do here? I want to load a texture. I guess we do this with Atlas textures. So if I search for new, yeah, here. Yeah, something like this is similar to what I want. So what I want to do is I want to make a new, I guess, just texture. Or maybe we could just load this and see what the size of it is. Okay, so we're gonna pick any random one of these. Let's pick Apple Core. Copy. And then we should be able to get its size. Yeah, I just want to print this out. And it should say 128 by 128. Texture 2D does not contain a definition for size. How do you load an SVG? How do you guys debug in Godot Sharp? I have my notes located there. If you load them up and go to C# in Godot, there are these instructions here. This is how you set everything up. Okay, so how do you load? Can we load an SVG like that? No. So All right, how about this? Let's just print out the whole thing, I guess. Or maybe load this as a texture 2D. T equals that. And then just set a breakpoint here. And just see what happens. Sure things go well. Sure thing. So I assume this is going to have loaded correctly. Now I just type T, we need a compressed texture. This doesn't have a size? Does it have a width? What? What? What do we have to do to get a size or something here? Huh. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. T.image or something like that. I think I need to load this as something different. Dough texture 2D. Oh, there's get width on it? Are you serious? But I tried width. Do I have to type get width? Oh my, seriously? I thought they'd have the C# shorthand for it where they just make it a property. Okay, so there's get width and there's get height. I expected there to be a size property, but there just isn't. Oh, there is get size. Okay, so we could have searched for get size. Wow. All right. Okay, so we want to make sure nothing here is less than 128 by 128, but we also need to get every single icon that exists. And the way we iterate over these is not super obvious because of how exported builds will work with this, although this shouldn't be run on exported builds. Let me make certain about that before I do this. Yeah, if is on debug build or it's on an exported build, then just return. Yeah, it's not on the debug build. Okay, that's all fine. So now how do we find all files in a folder? I wrote code for this somewhere. I don't remember where. What would I have even done it for? Abilities, maybe? Ability data, all ability data. I could have sworn I had done this somewhere. Oh man, I don't know. I search for files. I can figure this out on my own. Oh, here it is. I was just worried that I might make the same mistake I'd made last time. All right, what do we have here? So open up a directory. So what we need to do is find every single SVG in our entire project and then load them all and then make sure that the texture sizes are fine. It might be easier to do this as some like validation script that happens outside of the game completely. But I guess there are different ways you can load in the size, either through a style tag or through width and height. All right, well, what are we doing here? This is get all paths. We go through scenes. We open directories and push, yeah. We'd have to write something like this. I wonder if it's worth making just a traverse files or traverse all folders looking for certain file names. TSCN or TSN remap. I guess we'd look for SVG and SVG remap. But then trim the remap suffix. Just generalize this, yeah. All right, well, if we're going to do that, then we're going to do that in a separate commit so I don't break everything. All right, let's copy paste this over to here. And then clean all this stuff up. Actually, nothing should have even changed there. Okay, so a whole bunch of SVGs are going to change. Is there any code that changed? None whatsoever. But this one file change, oh yeah, that needed to change. Okay, that's fine. But otherwise, every single file is an SVG or an import file, right? What am I doing? We don't need to even validate this just by looking at it. We can just do get status pv copy. And then look at every single file in here. So all the ones that end in SVG, just delete. And yeah, that leaves us with one other file, which I already verified. Okay, so increase or standardize size of SVGs. So before this, all of the skill icons were 64 by 64. So rendering at a 2x scale would make them look blurry. Then lots of regular icons were 512 by 512. So we were using 1 megabyte of VRAM just to load the SVGs. They're all 128 by 128 now. As a result, all icons should be crisp and VRAM usage should be down by like 10 to 15 megabytes. I'm not going to measure that. I don't care. Yeah, because we increased the size of all the 64 by 64 ones such that I had it open somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Such that they take up 64 kilobytes now. So they would have used to take up 16, I think. So technically 80 icons. I just said I'm not going to compute this, but I guess I'm still going to compute it. So what did I say? 16, 64, so 48. So 84 times 48. So there would have been 4 megabytes added from that, but then 17 megabytes removed. So a change of about, 10 to 15. That's pretty accurate. But as Left just said, I'm just making all this up, so there's no validating anything I say. All right, so now we got to genericize this other thing. I don't really want to do this. Yeah, I don't want to do this. Scene paths, this thing broke. There we go. So we'll file an issue. Whenever I'm feeling lazy, we just file issues. Validate that SVGs are the right sizes. All right, get log -1, copy this. So in this commit, I standardized the size of SVG files. We should probably push this so that it's actually there. However, nothing ensures that future SVGs added to the code base will have the proper sizes. So we should write a validator for this. So in runtime validator, add a new function to validate SVG files. Code is going to look something like this. T.getWidth. Validate T.getWidth and T.getHeight. It should have a body that is something like this. Actually, we could just have something like validate SVG string path and just say, whoa, what in the world are you doing, AI? Path is something like this. And then to do validate this. Yeah. Okay, so that's one step. Next step is to refactor scene paths.getAllPaths to be generic. So that we can use it to list all SVG files in the whole project. It should use the genericized function from the previous step and then call something like this for each path. Cool. Yeah. It's a pretty simple task. Like I said, I just don't feel like doing it. Oh my God, I just still cannot believe what a difference that made, though. And actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if I should put a new trailer online. I guess we're already going to re-record it anyway at some point. But in the trailer, I do show off skill icons, and I think it's at a scale of 2x. So it's now going to be the blurry icons. Yeah. It's not super noticeable. Yeah, I don't think it's worth re-exporting a trailer for this. And as I mentioned, we will have to make a new trailer anyway once we have the final game and all the final UI and everything. But yeah, wow, what a difference. Whoops. It's just so crazy. Can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Man, there are a lot of little things like that we've had to work on. And every time we do something like that, I just think it gets better without you realizing that anything was ever broken in the first place. All right, consider increasing the size. We're not going to do this anymore. Should file an issue to support Steam Cloud. Apparently this is easy to do, but yeah, I do want it on the list. Support Steam Cloud for save files. I don't think this is difficult work from what I understand, but it's something that players will expect, so we should make sure that it's working. And probably we should file this as pre-launch. Okay. Probably gonna want later instances to have enemies with abilities, and we explain the abilities on the map. Remember that if we ever do this, we definitely need to allow for hovering over battlers to figure out what's going on. Yeah, let's write this down. The date actually doesn't matter. I'll just say updates. I'll just put this here, even though it's technically not Monday anymore. This would also allow us to add abilities to random enemies. We should maybe even include the current abilities there. Basic attack, fire blast, fire. It's not even called fire blast, it's like fire barrage or something. Fire barrage, yeah. Etc. If we do that, make sure the ogre's ability doesn't render weirdly, since it's a special one that makes sure you can't die. Thanks, Adam. Learn spot. Oh yeah, and if we do that, I guess we should consider adding new abilities. Did I close that tab already? I don't know where it went. Yeah, here it is. Maybe file an issue to consider that. All right, minor suggestion. I didn't notice fish that were beaten in battle were immediately getting fed to the orange slime man. It made me think something wasn't working correctly, especially when my party was just sitting there after all the fish were gone. I feel like some more feedback in this area. Yeah, we should address these things. I think we mentioned adding a barrel or something. Yeah, this. Update. We got feedback here. Let me see when this was. It might have been around the same date. This was March 6th. This was April 11th. Saying I might as well put their names here. This is Campbell's Soup. And this is Explosive James. I guess just put a space between them. Probably between these two as well. Okay. All right, this one's a performance thing. We should try to get rid of if statements in our shaders if it won't hurt readability. But I was going to say, could we benchmark this maybe? Because we definitely have if statements right now. And if statements are generally bad for shaders because you need to predict the branch in your GPU. And if you predict wrong, then you take a performance hit. And a lot of the if statements you do for shader code is just a way of getting around writing the right math for it. So we could potentially like change this to something where, you know, we're using a particular color or not using a particular color, just predict right. Actually, something like this probably does get predicted correctly. But something like, where is it? Common shader functions. Do we have an if statement in here? Yeah, this will probably not get predicted correctly because half the time it's true and half the time it's false. There might be a way to work around this. I don't know if it's worthwhile to even look at. It's one of those like hyper optimizations. And it probably hurts code readability too. That's the problem. I'm just not sure if it's even worth filing an issue. Maybe I file one and we tackle it later. Consider removing if statements from shaders where possible. Okay, so some caveats. I don't know that there's even a performance problem worth considering right now. So maybe just close this issue rather than kicking the can down the road every time I see this. Other thing, removing if statements may hurt readability in exchange for helping performance. In those cases, we probably shouldn't do this. And what else? There's another caveat about this. If statements and shaders. Is there a reference I can include for this? Where the universal answer is it depends. Yeah. Yeah, I think even if there is a problem, removing if statements may not be the correct solution. Well, it's filed now. All right, real problem with tanks and healers is that we still haven't really incentivized defensive play at all. Longer instances kind of sort of do it. Maybe adding mods will too. Mods? I don't know what I meant by mods. Because mods would have meant one of three different things depending on when I wrote this note. We had battle mods a while ago. We have the idea of like gameplay mods for new games. And maybe like enemy abilities or environment effects. So yeah, no idea what I meant by that. But the problem is still there, which is you don't really need a tank or a healer. So if your damage dealers can just get things done anyway, then they should get things done. And I think part of the problem, I'm just realizing this now, part of the problem is that adventurers recover life individually. What this means is that if your tank dies each match, then you have the full recovery time for the next battle, even if everyone else is at full life. So what we could do is we could base it on the party. So we can say something like your party as a whole took 13% damage across like average over 4 people, let's say. And we're allowed to recover whatever, I don't know, 5% per character per second. But you can stack it all onto one character if you need to. So you could like turbo refill the warrior at the end of a battle. That would be interesting, but I don't think this would be clear to players that it's happening. But I do think that's probably the right way to go about this. Kevin, it's a good one. I do like this idea. Yeah. If we coded this, I don't think it would be clear to players. And I don't know how much of an impact it would have. I always forget about how these numbers work out, so let's go take a look. Regeneration component. Man, I should not have to reload VS Code this often. Cooldown reset. So we give this much times 4 every second. So 1 divided by this, it's 14 seconds to fully recover. Assuming at least one party member had 0 life. I guess just had died. So we could still have that be the worst case scenario. How do we do this? So we need to say, take your average party life. Wait, let me think this. Yeah, and then refill it by X% per second wherever needed. And X is equal to, I guess, like 7% times the number of party members. Yeah. I think that would work. So then how does this work? Let's say your warrior is at 0% life and you have 3 other adventurers at 100% life. So it means that the warrior is going to get 28% life per second, which means that after 4 seconds, you do a new battle. That is a pretty nice change. We could make this a perk. Although the way that the perk would work is it would say something like your adventurers recover life as a party. Would incentivize you to be more defensive. I don't think we make the decision now. I think we probably just file this. Consider changing how regeneration works between battles. So right now, each adventurer gets about 7% life per second. I don't even think it's approximately 7%. I think it is 7%, right? It was this times 4. Yeah, no, it's exactly 7%. Which means that if even a single party member dies, you'll have to wait 14 seconds before the next battle. This, I guess, like, we should reward more defensive play. It's pretty common to have a warrior die in battle because they have taunt. So then you're punished for including a tank. We could do is this. Whatever I wrote down over here. Refill life by X% per second, where X is 7 times num party members. And distribute this life like how the Paladin's algorithm works. That algorithm took me a long time to write. So let's go find that. What is it called? Holy Link? Holy Light? I think it's this. No, that's Holy Link. I chose the wrong one. Meant to choose this one. Yeah, heal in such a way that differences in life percentages is minimized. So we pretty much just call this, I guess. Okay. All right, so take from here down to here. And then put this like that. Perhaps this should be a perk, although I don't know how we would word this for players. It would never be, wait, could it be worse? Hang on a second, let me think about this. Yeah, no, it could never be worse. It would never be worse than the current regeneration. But it may not be clear how it works. Hey, Godzilla. Oh, okay. If we didn't change life regeneration, how else would we do this? I don't have any ideas. How would we incentivize defensive play? The mark of defensive play is that you are taking less damage. So we need to have it so that taking more damage is a punishment. And it's either make death mean something, which is not a great idea because some of the tanks just die by virtue of being tanks. Or it is, yeah, change regeneration. So yeah, I think what we wrote down is probably pretty good. Loot magnet almost certainly needs to be reworked. When you fully upgrade the enchanter and the garbage slime, it means you'll get a lot more money and not have to do anything to achieve this. Hey, Retarius. I'm so torn on this. Loot magnet. So here's what it says right now. Grants a 25% chance to find twice as many items from battles for 30 seconds. And you can upgrade this a couple of times so that at its strongest, it is granting a 75% chance to find twice as many items. The GUI looks so slick. Well, one of the ways in which the GUI just got better is these icons are now clear. We had them rendering at half the size they were supposed to be. Yeah, so the idea with these spells was you have one for customers. So if you have a lot of items in your shops and customers aren't buying them, speed up the customers. You had one for workers. So if you had a lot of items in your warehouse and you didn't stock shops fast enough, then increase this. And then one for getting items. So if you just didn't have items at all anywhere, then click this one. And I just think that this one's probably too powerful. And part of the issue is that, again, we are doubling something. So we have a 2x. So instead of getting 5 potions, you get 10 potions. Obviously, that's a huge difference. What we could say is that the way Loot Magnet works is well, we can't give you fractions of an item, though. That's a problem. Because a lot of times you actually end up getting like 3 potions and it turns to 6. So there's no way to be like, just give you 1 extra maybe or something. I don't know. It's all right. All right, well, some ways we could change this if we still wanted to give more items is like a chance to re-roll some of the drops. I don't know how you'd communicate that to players though. Like a chance to get one extra item, that wouldn't probably even be that good. Or maybe this could turn into duplication stuff. I know I kind of talked about this before, but maybe like chance when an item is sold that it stays around to be purchased again. Did you get smaller? Is that a huge mug? I mean, this is pretty large. It is. Hang on. The text is in white on the bottom. It is 50 ounces, which is about 1.5 liters. There was this iron mug online that held like 84 ounces. I was like, I should buy that. My wife was like, we don't need another one of those. Okay, you're right. We could also just lower the chance. I don't know. Maybe it just creates items. Just create items when you click it. Like, act like you beat the last instance again. No duration on it. I'm very torn on this. See people go around with a gallon-sized bottle. The only place I've ever seen that is at the gym. And it feels weird to me because one, how do you clean it? And two, is it comfortable to drink from it? Because I myself, if you take a look at this command, the maximum hydration command, I am no stranger to drinking from large bottles. God, that was a silly April Fool's gag years ago. It still tickles me to this day. I have come back to this design so many times and I have not ever really come up with anything. Other spells are for other throughputs of your town. Customers buying, workers restocking. Need something to give you more items. Or make battles faster. I guess this could be the time spell. Just make battles run faster. I like the idea, and I already kind of wanted to do this before. And by having battles run faster, you will naturally get items faster. You go to the gym a lot, so maybe it's related to that. I think it is. Uh, I do like this idea, and we already proved that it's not that hard to make it work. Oh, there are probably gonna be some edge cases there. However, I wasn't sure that the enchanter should have this. That's my only real problem. So if the enchanter has it, then it's going to be a spell with a mana cost and a duration. If there's a chronomancer or something like that, then it could just be like a thing that's always active or takes a special kind of mana. Time mana. I wonder if a game has ever done that idea. Time mana. Time is mana. Huh. This is not a thing that tends to show up in games. I'm kind of surprised, actually. Yeah, interesting. Hmm. Time mana. Played pro football, so I was just used to doing it all my life. Oh, cool. So I am a sports idiot. Is pro football always like an NFL level thing? Or maybe do you mean soccer? Should probably clarify as a dumb American. Ignorance is bliss. It's like you predicted that I was going to say something about being a sports idiot. Although I'm sure you were talking about time mana. Hi, Pressel. Okay, so I haven't really come to any conclusions. I think for the sake of the demo, it doesn't really matter. But I think that after the demo, it's going to matter. Do I have anything written about it? Concept of time flux. Add enchanter perks. Okay, yeah, I'll add one. Rework loot magnet. When you fully upgrade the enchanter and the garbage slime, it means you get a lot more money. It just affects money by too much. We could scale it back, but then it won't feel like you're getting the effect all that often. Yeah, I don't think this is a problem for the demo, but I think it'll be a problem for the full game. It does feel good to affect loot drops. Still want whatever we end up doing to affect loot drops. I'm just not sure how best to do it. Some ideas I had. Something with duplication, e.g. items have an X% chance when purchased to stay in the shops. I mean, it's pretty interesting to have something like that. A chance to re-roll some of the drops. Spell that has no duration, but just creates items as though you beat the same battle location you just won last. Spell that speeds up time. This would just make battles run faster in general, which would mean more loot. Ask if it was always what? I was asking, is it football, like American football, or is it soccer? And I was asking if it was always, if it's American football, does that always mean like the NFL? Because I don't know very much about this stuff. I don't feel like you're going to affect all that often. Okay, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about this, but there we go. The European one, soccer. Radiant Retaliation mentions double strike, but probably shouldn't until you actually get double strike. Man, there's a lot to do here. Finally learned how to use templater in the way I want. Collecting recipes in my vault is easier than ever. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. All right, we should do another one of these things. Done a 58834. So in the last hour and 19 minutes, we've gotten rid of like 1,300 something characters. Oh man. I mean, the list is shrinking. It's just shrinking very, very slowly. Hmm. Yeah. Play for the Texans, which is the NFL, but I had to retire at 23 from injuries. Oh man. That's crazy on a bunch of different levels. Crazy good that you got that experience. Crazy bad that you had to retire from injuries. Oh man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately I don't really follow any sports. And every once in a while, I find myself in conversations where people are talking about sports and I have like no way of contributing. You know how to solve your file size issue? Yeah. Also, I could just wipe some of these things out. Like, this is not super important. It's also not super hard to do. And getting rid of it is going to remove 103 characters from the list. So, yeah, man. I am losing some steam here. I said I wanted to do this in the morning, and maybe we should say that the morning is over. It's practically over. It's 11:40. Teach your kids golf, don't play football. It's like getting in a car wreck every week. Oh man. It's crazy how much money there is in football. Just as an industry, I mean. Not even necessarily for the players, but for the top players, it sounds like there's a ton of money in that too. Did hyper triage in the morning. Yeah, okay, so the issue is I don't know what we're doing in the afternoon. I don't want it to just be this stuff. I mean, we could spend another 3 hours filing this and get another 10,000 characters off the list or something. I mean, I guess we could also just like skim through this and delete random stuff like I just did. I think we need to get some stuff done. Yeah. Music composition. I don't think I want to do music right now. I also don't think music is probably the most important thing for the demo. To be honest, what I think the most important thing for the demo is at this point is probably marketing. And I don't know how to do marketing stuff on stream. I think I'd be making videos and stuff, and I can't really do that while I'm streaming. Controller support would be cool, but this is not like an easy thing to do. Although, actually, when we get to controller support, I thought of some ideas I should write down. His name is Steam Deck support. Wouldn't be a small task. And then some general ideas. If we detect that you're using a controller, maybe pop up a dialogue saying the game, like, I guess offering either the quick move menu or an extra worker to make it easier to play the game. Hey, Goose. Yeah. Man. I do want to ramp up marketing efforts. I think I also want to run some Reddit ads at some point. Oh, this is something I said I wanted to do. Push a new version of Skeleseller. I mean, we could do that, but it should probably be done after I've done whatever other changes we're going to work on. Maybe I should just tackle some random issues. Would that benefit the demo? No, I'd started working on a music track that I just never finished. Is this even loaded? Huh.
Whoops.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I don't have it open anymore. I mean, opening it wouldn't be that hard, but still. I guess it's either triage or it's tackling some of these things. Alternatively, we could do that idea I had earlier, which is write an extension or just a totally different project. Just take a break from Skeleseller for a bit. Had good success with Reddit ads. Yeah, I want to give it a shot. I don't know what amount of money is sufficient to know that I've given it a shot. If you spent $1 on ads, you can probably conclude nothing on any platform, right? And if you spend $1 million, you can probably make a lot of conclusions. Like, where's the point where you know you've spent enough? So I think I'm going to start with $100 and see where that gets me. The thing is, I wanted to keep the budget for this game under 500, and I kind of wanted to include marketing in that. And by spending another 100, it would be very, very close to the edge of the budget. Yeah, if someone has $1 million they want to spend on advertising for me, that'd be great. Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing what some games can do because they can take in more money. Like Skeleseller only has the whatever purchase price is, $10, maybe $15 if I could ask for that much. But then that's it. There's no way you can be like, oh, I'll spend another 5 because I like this part of the game, or I'll get some costumes or something. There are some games that have no real ceiling for how much you can spend. So the average per player might be something like $20 or $50 or something. And some players might spend 1,000. World of Warcraft added, I think, a mount in some version of their game that costs, I think, $90 or $100 on its own. And it just blows my mind to think that it's like, okay, one mount in WoW, where you have to spend money every month anyway, is equal to like 10 sales in my game. I mean, the long boy, I think so. It's like a dinosaur or something. We assume double the marketing gives double the results. When the $100 extra be a good investment. Oh yeah. I shouldn't. What's who was it? Emerson or Thoreau or someone who said a foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of little minds. I should not be sticking to my budget just because I said it was a budget a long time ago. If it makes sense and it's going to pull in money, then yeah, I should spend more money on it. I could just say that the budget excludes marketing. $500 over 2 weeks. It's hard to correlate how much that converted, but we did see a spike in traffic. Yeah. Also, Goose, I should probably mention, there's a no segmenting rule in chat, but I tend to only tell people once they violate the rule. All right, well, I don't have a solid plan of what I'm doing in the afternoon. So maybe some combination of triage and tackling some of these things. As we triage more, we'll end up with more issues. Right now we're at 227. Even the 100 extra gives you 10 new people at $10. It's basically worth it. Obviously, after fees, it's not $10, but it probably boosts the game. So, yeah, I agree with the general sentiment. What I would not agree with is I think the ROI on ads needs to be a significant enough percentage. So imagine if you ran $10 of ads and you got like $10 and a penny. Technically, then it's probably worth running ads, but I think this would indicate a problem with either your ad strategy or with your product. So like ideally you want $10 to yield whatever, $16 or something like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's definitely worthwhile running these ads. I don't think the margin should be so thin though. And as you mentioned, every $10 you take in through Steam means you actually only get $7. So yeah, at the very least, you need $10 to give you something like $14 to have broken even, which is just a fact, basically. So yeah, there's some knock-on effect of, okay, more people know about it, it's in the public consciousness, maybe they end up sharing it, but yeah, I still think you should probably end up seeing that maybe a little sooner. You have to tweet about Skeleseller. So this is something that would be great, is if chat could help spread the word. Every day, pretty much, I end up Googling Skeleseller and just seeing, I end up clicking this, and then this, and then this, and no, sorry, that one. Past 24 hours, like, what do people talk about? Oh, hey, Viridian Games. That's the person I rated the other day. I wonder if they... Oh, interesting. The word Skeleseller came up because it's in my open graph thing. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, in general, I search for this and I never see anything show up unless I made it. And like, if someone were to post on Reddit somewhere, anywhere, like, hey, here's a cool game that I found on Steam, that would help out a lot. But I say this stuff and it's like the bystander effect of, I haven't been like, Cypher, you should post about it or something like that. And I don't want individual people to feel pressured. Just if people are ever asking for permission, you've got the permission to post whatever you want about this stuff. Get hit by companies to do ad campaigns with AI agents I built. I can sponsor some help maybe. Yeah, if you're serious about this, feel free to DM me. I don't actually, I'm not a marketing expert and I don't know what's best to do. And I think what I need to do is make more content, run ads, and like get chat on board somehow. Like Reddit posts, I don't know, TikTok videos playing the game or something. And I need to spread out to more platforms, post on more platforms. So that's the stuff I know. Some of this is in my power and I just haven't done it yet. Think of the League of Legends player that can't flame without keyboard warrioring, a succession of 2 words per line monologues. Those numbers are pretty pessimistic. I'm no expert, just having my thoughts. Oh yeah. No, I get it. I'm just sharing my thoughts too on this stuff, just to expand on what you'd said. I think ads are worthwhile, or else it wouldn't be a mega billion-dollar industry. So it's all a question of finding the right audience and running the right ads, and a lot of this is an industry in itself of just figuring out. If I was like, okay, I have a $500 ad budget, figuring out how to make this go as far as possible is a set of skills I will probably not develop in the next 6 months. So it's like I could get slightly better, but I'm not going to be as good as someone who's a professional at this stuff. You do marketing? I mean, I do some stuff. I was making videos for a little while on YouTube about just general tech topics and then linking to Skeleseller. And it turns out that actually did help. These videos didn't get a lot of views. All in all, maybe like 30,000 or something, or 50,000. But it was bringing in traffic to Skeleseller. So like I should do more of those, which means I need to budget the time. And then I should also probably make some Skeleseller specific stuff. Yeah, cool, Zor. Thank you. Yeah, and I think my Discord name is there. It is. No, yeah, it is. It is. It's just Adam Learns. Yeah, I think the afternoon is going to be to tackle just some issues, and maybe we'll look through this. The problem is whenever I look through this stuff and I'm like, oh, what should I add? It's always difficult. But yeah, let's take a look at that. So afternoon, tackle some issues, just whatever looks good or fun, and review this. Yeah. Picks a topic and uploads it. What could go wrong? I despise that video showing up when I searched Adam Learns. There shouldn't be some kid who doesn't even know he's on YouTube showing up with 11 million views on top of my channel named Adam Learns. Yeah, I don't know. I get that my channel is the first result here, although possibly that's tailored to me. But still, it'd be nice if my videos are showing up more. Okay, I'm gonna get going for now. It is lunchtime, and I don't know what I'm eating, so I'm gonna go figure that out. But yeah. Oh, when's the launch date? Sorry, Drew, I missed your message from 3 minutes ago. I don't have a specific launch date yet, but probably September, thereabouts. I need a reaction video to watching that. Can you imagine if that's how I end up getting views, is reacting to some like kid in a toy car? He gets 11 million views and I get 500,000. I would seriously have to wonder what my life has become. When is lunch date? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna head out. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back in about an hour and we'll probably just tackle some of the issues from GitHub. So as soon as I can type this thing, I will say see you later. Bye, everybody.